Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. Hope you've been well. I've been So we're here to talk about it. No, we're not actually here to talk about how I feel. We're just here to talk because that's what we do. And it has been a couple of days. I had the schedule, well, not really scheduled, but fun vacation. And then the last couple of days just I'm just gonna leave it at that. Whew. Hope you guys have been well, though. Hope everything's been good for you. I have a good weekend planned. Well, I don't know about how planned it is, but we're celebrating my wife's birthday this weekend. So that's nice. You guys know how much I love birthdays. And if there's one I'm very, very happy about, it's hers because that's made my whole life so much better. And I mean that sincerely, no matter how sarcastic that came out. It wasn't supposed to come out sarcastic. Guys, I'd have been here a couple of minutes ago on what I scheduled as the right time over there on Rumble, except I got distracted right at the last moment when I found out Brianna Wu had been on Tim Pool today. I don't know. I don't know if I have the heart to go watch that. Hey, Nuts, how you doing, sweetheart? I clicked over there real fast and just jumped to a random point, and they were talking about inflation and Brianna Wu talking about how yeah, there was inflation everywhere, but I feel like the United States got it under control quicker than anybody. No, we didn't get it under control. Inflation tends to burn itself out unless you do something really, really horrible that exacerbates the problem, like we did. And after that, it tends to get back to a more normal range. Not good. It's not good right now, but it's a more normal range. But it doesn't get rid of all the inflation that happened. You have to have deflation for that. So instead, what we have is that 12% inflation never went away just because it's at what, 3.5 or 4%, whatever the hell it's at right now. That's on top of what it was last year. That 12% never goes away. It's just now it's down to 3% after being at 12%. So basically, we're at 15% overall, total, from where we were. However, she does go on to say that if Biden doesn't stop talking about how good the economy is, he's going to be in trouble because people aren't seeing it that way. Well, no, he picked the absolute wrong time to come out and try that Bidenomics crap. It's Bidenomics. People will be calling this Bidenomics. They're already calling it Bidenomics. Dude, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that right as everything is falling to shit. We saved the inflation. No, you didn't. Like I said, it just kind of runs its course. We got the jobs back. No, you didn't. Things just kind of opened up, and the job market is slowing down. Layoffs have already begun in major categories across the board, and we're going to see a lot more of that in the coming future because nothing was done concrete to help the situation. In fact, with all of the problems with like gas prices and stuff, did you see what Biden did? I think it was yesterday. You'll have to forgive me on the days here because everything from the last week kind of runs together, but I think it was yesterday. Biden comes out and announces that they are taking back all of the leases that are the unused leases in the Arctic National Reserve or Wildlife Preserve, not reserve, preserve. Because global warming, you guys, we got to make sure we don't drill for oil in the Arctic because it's going to make it less cold up there. I mean, it's not, but that was his reasoning. So this just goes more to, yes, Brianna Space Rocks, that's her. This just goes to the problem that Biden has with not understanding shit. We are on a crash course for disaster if we don't do something about this economy and stop blaming fossil fuels for all of our problems. That's just the long and short of it. If we go down this road of artificially causing energy problems, 70s, then we're going to have a really, really, really bad time. We're going to have a bad time. So yeah, that's it's funny to me. I mean, even Brianna Wu can see that Biden's full of shit on that. The chick who thinks you can take a rock from the moon and literally throw it down to Earth as a weapon. I'm not making that up. That is true. Throw a rock from the moon to the Earth as a weapon is looking at Biden's economy and going, "Yeah, this motherfucker's crazy. This shit's crazy." Yeah, so is what it is. Also, right before this, I saw the most ridiculous article I've read in a long time. And it's not ridiculous because of the subject. Well, I guess the subject matter to a point. It's the way that it's written, and we'll get to it in a little while. It's a New York Post article about Azizer. Oh my God. But before we get there, we need to talk about the new the New Mexico governor. Jesus freaking Christ. Okay. What is on the 8th? Today's the 10th, so on the 8th, the governor of New Mexico, I almost said New York because we never talk about New Mexico, comes out and declares that for the next 30 days, she is suspending the right to carry firearms in Albuquerque, New Mexico, just in Albuquerque and the county there. The 30 days, it's a it's a statewide emergency. It's a health emergency. Gun violence. All right. Sure, why not? Now, the reason I even paid attention to this is because when I woke up, the first thing I saw was unconstitutional was trending, and I'm like, fuck, why? I got to be honest with you. When I see the term unconstitutional trending on Twitter, that's always my reaction. Fuck, why? Because I'll be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, whatever people are whining about has nothing to do with the Constitution at all. It's just become this term people use because they don't understand how to make arguments otherwise. It's like, no, you can't do that. Well, actually, you can. There's a lot of stuff that the Constitution does allow for. And people just use it as a crutch. And that goes left, right, and center where people, they just don't understand. So I pull up this article on it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this one's unconstitutional. What's up, Jack?
How's it going? Talking about the New Mexico thing?
Oh, yeah. Because of that, it's how you been?
Oh, not bad. How are you? You sound terrible.
We'll just leave it at that. I saw this story. It's the first thing I saw when I woke up tonight. By the way, I'm sorry I missed your message earlier. I was planning, and you can ask P Dog because I'd sent him a message about this. We're gonna have P Dog on eventually. Somebody said, "Hey, you guys should have P Dog on." Like, we have him on whenever he wants, anytime he wants, because I love P.
Good people.
But me and him were talking. I'm like, I'm planning on doing the show at 8. That was the plan last night, Jack. And at 6, my body went, "Go to bed now." Like, all right, I will be in bed. But anyway, I wake up and I see unconstitutional trending, and I go and look up why. And it's because this stupid ass, what's her name? Fuck, I don't even.
Her name is Giant Bitch. I mean, it's
Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Yeah. Did you see the video?
No. Is this the one of her announcing it?
My God, yeah.
No.
I pulled a monkey and paused every 5 fucking seconds.
Well,
so enraging.
I didn't even watch it. I was reading stories about it, and I had the same effect, man. Especially when I found out why she was doing this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that the reason this is happening is because there's been a increase in violent shootings as opposed to the non-violent ones. You shoot them and it goes, oh, it tickles.
Yeah, tickle guns.
Fuck. But they kept pointing to one case. I kept seeing this one case mentioned over and over and over again, even from the the sheriff down there is like, I'm not sure this is constitutional.
I'm sure it's not constitutional.
And then you have the police chief who's like, I am not enforcing this shit.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get sued. If the sheriffs are smart, they're not going to try and enforce this, because there's gonna end up being somebody shot out of this. I guarantee it.
Well, let's start with the most obvious of these before we even get to the part that, to me, before you ever get to Constitution, there's two things that jump out at me. One is the cases that they use, and two is she outlaws concealed and open carry.
Which is all transportation of firearms.
Well, as I've mentioned before, Jack, anytime you're in public, everybody but you could be packing, and you wouldn't notice if they're concealed. That's kind of what concealed means.
Kind of, yeah. And this only affects law-abiding people, not the ones doing drive-bys or road rage incidents. Oh, no, it's just regular old people doing their regular constitutional thing. You know, it's sort of like banning, I don't know, Catholics.
Nancy asked, Monkey got a cold. Monkey, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm still leaning towards just my sinuses. We had 90 degrees the other day. It's like 50 out there right now, or whatever the hell it is. And my sinuses aren't happy. But I want to
super coof.
So we have these two things that she's at: open and concealed carry. Open carry, I guess you could enforce, Jack, because if you see, I can see it, it's right there. Concealed carry is not one that you can get unless, they're in the commission of some other crime. So at that point, is that unless it was a shooting, then they're really not doing anything wrong with their gun except having it.
Oh, well, I mean, that's vile, Monkey. How dare you?
Beast, my friend, how are you? Hope you're well. The other thing is the cases, and let's start with the most recent one. An 11-year-old was killed in Albuquerque the other day in what police are describing as a road rage incident, although I don't know how they've come to that conclusion.
I don't know either, because there were a couple places reporting it as a drive-by, but it sounds more people are saying road rage incident. So I'm wondering if this lady cut somebody off and the person in the car took a shot.
Well, what we do know is that they were leaving a minor league baseball game, and there is footage of the one car being chased by the other car. And what happens is they keep calling it a black SUV, but in the video, it looks kind of gray to me, but fuck, I don't know. It strolls up and fires a bunch of shots into the car, kills an 11-year-old and wounds the 20-year-old driver.
Yeah, it's his aunt was the driver, the female that was injured.
Yeah, and so okay, all right, I hear you. That's horrible. It's fucking. I cannot imagine losing an 11-year-old. However, sorry guys, there will be some coughing tonight. However, what the fuck does that have to do with open or concealed carry? Jack, this isn't like they were walking down the street and somebody pulls out a gun from his jacket and pops the kid. This was a road rage, a drive-by, something. Some assholes in a car had a gun. And I don't see how this law, this declaration, I guess, how this would have stopped that at all. Can you? Oh shit, man! We were gonna kill those people, but we couldn't even walk the gun to the car today because of that damn order.
There's a sign. It's fucking dumb.
Fuck! I was gonna kill somebody, but damn it, she said I can't even carry the gun. Well, fuck! I guess I'm gonna have to wait 30 days. But there's two other cases that were mentioned, Jack. I don't know if you saw those ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were brought up in her press conference.
Not in the part that I had. She focused mainly on the 11-year-old because standing on the graves of children is what Democrats are best at.
But there's a couple other children, and I guarantee you'll see more and more about them as this goes on.
Oh yeah,
because one of them was a 5-year-old. Yeah, 5-year-old. 5 teens, actually one is an adult, so 4 teens and an adult have been arrested for a drive-by on a trailer where they unloaded a shit ton of bullets into this trailer, caught a 5-year-old in the head.
Yeah.
And she died. Again, I'm not sure how this stops that crime.
It doesn't, because I mean, obviously there was some sort of thing going on between those people anyway.
Yeah. Again, unless you're expecting that they're fuck, I can't even drive the gun there to shoot them. This isn't going to stop them.
Yeah, and these were 4 teenagers who are not legally allowed to have guns.
And 5 people total who are not legally allowed to shoot people.
Yeah,
for fun or sport, whichever it was.
Yeah, either way.
And then the third case is a 13-year-old girl who is at a little kind of house party thing, and a grouping, really, not really a party. I don't want to give it that. It was just a group of friends hanging out at this kid's house. And the 14-year-old boy who lives at that house pulled out a gun and shot her in the face.
Yep, it was his dad's gun.
His dad's gun. His dad has been charged with allowing easy access to a gun to a minor. He's waiting. He's out on bail waiting trial. His son is in jail, and they're hoping that they charge this asshole with adult crimes. But yeah, there was nothing accidental about it. He wasn't concealed. It was inside a home, so this wouldn't apply to it. This wouldn't apply to any of the 3 cases.
Nope.
This is the only medicine I can give you. Get well soon, my friend. Thank you so much, Retro. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just... Oh, by the way, Pumpkin reached out, and there was a donation off air. Thank you. I just remembered that. Pumpkin, thank you. Reached out and wished me well while I was gone. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we were all worried.
Oof.
I mean, dude, you taking a nap has caused all these catastrophes.
I know, right?
If you take the big dirt nap, dude, we're fucked.
That'll be the end, huh?
Game over, man. Game over.
I just can't die because the world will. Anyhow, none of this shit is in any way associated with what she's trying to accomplish. Saying, hey, you guys can't carry guns. What does that stop of any of this? How many of these crimes have been committed because somebody was walking around with a gun?
It's a public health emergency, Monkey. We have to ban everything. That's the only way we'll be safe.
Every one of these crimes happened because of a shitbag criminal. And we've already, I don't know if you know this, Jack. We've made murder illegal.
What?
Assault is illegal. Battery's illegal. Fuck. Shooting people is illegal. Committing a felony with a gun is illegal.
That must have happened under Clinton. Because it had to be a Democrat. They're the only ones that outlaw something that dangerous.
And it's just amazing to me that they keep falling back on the same stupid shit. Maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, the problem isn't that somebody has a gun. It's that the wrong people have guns. And that, for the record, the issue didn't come because of the availability of guns. Guns have been available in this country for fucking ever. Literally since the beginning.
Yeah.
The problem has come with all the other changes we've made. You know, shit like destroying the family. No.
We don't talk about that. Thank you, sir.
Shit like gender studies. I bet there's a bigger, I bet there's a bigger correlation, between the rise in gender studies and the rise of recent crime rates than there is the availability of guns and crime rates.
It's almost like putting women in charge makes your society retrograde.
We have no standards for people anymore. And then they're like, I don't understand why people are doing this to each other. We have no sense of community. We have people openly out there shitting on the idea of patriotism. How dare you?
Yeah. Well, it's that self-destruction attitude of like, this is an evil country on stolen land. We should hate ourselves and destroy it from within. It's typical commie bullshit.
And they're like, we don't understand. It's just the guns. Really? I saw a guy the other day, Jack. This is a true argument that I watched on Twitter. This guy arguing with another dude about guns. And the guy said, my gun doesn't kill anybody. He goes, if I set it on a counter and leave it there, is it going to kill somebody? And the guy said this, it has a better chance of killing somebody than if it's not there. What? What? Are you for real? I didn't respond because I'm like, he's got to be retarded. I mean, that's just, that'd be mean. But that's where they are now. No, just the existence of that gun causes gun violence.
Do they think the guns will just vanish? I mean, like if they say, oh, they're illegal, all the guns, all the millions of guns around the world will just poof go away.
Yeah. That's all that happened. Look,
you can't wish it into the cornfield like a Twilight Zone episode.
Danger says can't beat that logic because there is none. You have a point there, my friend.
Yeah.
Well played. Oh my God. I could not believe I read those words. And that's a paraphrase, but I guarantee if you look it up, you'll find it. It was an amazing argument because usually if you say that to somebody, they back down like, hey, well, we're not talking about it. Look, yes, of course it's the shooter who caused it, but it's the access to the gun. Now, this motherfucker like, that gun could still shoot someone. I don't think that's how it works.
It's always the inanimate object's fault. There's no personal accountability anymore. You can't be responsible for your own actions. Some outside force did it. You might as well blame demons.
I was wondering if maybe he watched some Transformers or played some Borderlands 3 and there were some sentient guns or something in his world.
Apparently.
I don't know. All right, now to the constitutionality of it. Shall we discuss that? I guess it's important. Like I said, to me, while it is important, Jack, don't get me wrong. Before we ever get to that question, there's so many. Like, why are you talking about these cases? And what the fuck would that have stopped in these cases? But I mean, if we're gonna just ignore all that, fine. Let's go to the constitutional question. It is not, at least as far as we've seen historically, wrong for the government to disallow guns under certain circumstances. Very, very limited. Yes, historical even. But we did recently have a gun case where they were like, yeah, most of that's bullshit. You can't do it. We just had that. Last year? The California case?
Yeah.
The New York case, where New York's like, you can't have guns unless we tell you, or you tell us you have a really good reason to have a concealed carry. So much stuff is running out of my face right now.
Not.
The court came out and said, no, you can't do that. And that should have been how it always is. Here in Michigan, when I first moved here, it was, hey, you had to tell us why we had very much the same as New York. You have to prove why you need a concealed carry. Like, no, you should have to tell me why I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to justify anything for my constitutional rights.
Thank you, Ragnak. Banning guns will have the same result as banning nukes. Nearly every NATO nation and the USSR banned them. Ukraine was the only one to surrender them. That's true.
And look what happened to them.
And how many countries are actively trying to get nukes right now? Against international convention. Weird.
It's crazy how that happens.
Banning guns will have the same effect that banning drugs did. We have cut smoking more just by shame and price gouging than by banning it. Banning it just causes a black market for shit. And we all know nothing negative comes from black markets.
I mean, they're African American markets.
Well, no, can't go there, Jack. Not in this case.
Well, I mean, these are Democrats. They could suspend the Constitution in 2A.
Hey, look,
why not the 16A, right?
Look, man, booze running gave us NASCAR. Imagine what gun running will give us. You know what I mean? We'll have the next way. Okay, so we have the bans on guns, right? And then they come back, and the people who used to do the running of the gun, they'll be shooting each other down motorways.
Yeah, it'll be twisted metal.
Absolutely, it'll be awesome. But we've never had, like, we're gonna just ban that and it goes away. Instead, what tends to happen is a festering problem that we pretend we took care of.
But if we pretend hard enough, we can wish it into existence, right?
Indeed.
It's called manifesting.
No, because all they're doing is scaring people, and we know that.
But scared people will be compliant people.
Yes.
They'll let you do whatever you want.
Why do you think they're talking about children?
Oh,
there have been plenty of adults shot recently for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, they probably had it coming. It's the kids. Be afraid for your kids. Give us more power. It's temporary. I will gladly surrender it when the crisis is over.
We have to make sure that the kids are safe, which I agree. We got to make sure the kids are safe. And the way you do that is not by allowing criminals to be the only ones armed.
No, you put trans Anakin Skywalker in charge of the children and they'll be fine. He killed all the kids in the movies. Just saying.
And I'd also like to get to the point about community, because I really do think that's a big part of it, Jack. And this, I'm not just talking about inner city blacks. I'm talking about your trailer parks. I'm talking about anywhere where there is blight, and there's tons of it in this country.
Yeah, fucking poor people.
When you don't have people that care about their community, not just the buildings, but the people who inhabit those buildings, what do you expect? When there's nothing keeping them together and everything you have is just driving them apart because you voted for X or you don't like abortion, whatever the thing is, it allows you to demonize that person to unhuman. You're not even human anymore. What do you expect? Who cares that you're my neighbor and we go to the same grocery store and we pay the same taxes and our kids go to fuck you. You look, you got a Trump flag up. You belong below a prison. Why? What'd I do? You voted. I mean, wrongly. We're at that point. Speaking of which, a gentleman, using that term very, very lightly, who ran over a 18-year-old and killed him last year, supposedly because he was, it was politically motivated, is how they said it. Because he was a Republican and this drunk motherfucker wasn't. He ran him over and killed him and then drove home and called 911.
Excuse me. He was a Republican extremist?
Yeah, sorry. Who was getting people to come get him. He was following this kid around. The kid was on the phone with his mom, and he was like, yeah, Mom, this dude's following me. He runs him over and then runs home and calls the police and tells him, I'm flat out, he meant to do it. He got 5 years, Jack.
With credit for 1 year for time served.
Which we need to talk about. He got 1 year with credit for time served. That wasn't time served. And in the stories you'll read about it, they'll say for time at house arrest. He wasn't under house arrest. He was not allowed to leave the city, but he was not under house arrest.
No, Monkey, we've talked about your hate facts before. Just because reality, that bigotry, is confusing the plebs with our crafted narrative, that has to go away. Okay, you have to stop that.
I went looking, and yeah, there was nothing about his house arrest. There's stories that even say that when he pled guilty back in May, that he was out pending sentencing.
Yep, but the judges can kind of do whatever they want. Not a lot of limitations or consequences for out of control judges.
None of the articles at the time said he was under house arrest pending sentencing. He was released pending sentencing. So I don't know what fucking time served he's getting.
He probably spent a couple days before he got bailed out, and or they gave him like conditions. So yeah, he probably just did a short stint. They're giving him a full year credit for it.
Rogue says Montana or Idaho. I don't remember what. It was Montana. Yeah. Ran down a teenager. Yep. 5 years. They removed the let's see, he was originally charged with vehicular homicide. They got rid of that and charged him with first-degree murder. He pled down to manslaughter. Pled down to manslaughter. Facing 10 years, he got 5 with a year time served for being under investigation.
Yep. He'll be out in probably about a year and a half. I'd be shocked if he did 2 years.
This is... I guess what we got to do is ban those concealed cars. Open carry of vehicles.
No, you got to ban republicanism because that's mega extremism. And obviously this kid was asking for it if that's the logic we're using.
It's really weird, too, because the prosecution rejects the notion that this had anything to do with politics.
Of course they did.
Which is a weird thing because he's the one that said it did.
No, it doesn't matter. He's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just, he was confused.
Thank you, Snub. While I'm while the graphics suck, I'm enjoying playing BG3 on Steam Deck. I didn't think they really looked that bad on Steam Deck, honestly. Now if I can only commit to one character and get it to Act 3. I don't blame anybody for not being able to commit to a character on that until you find one. A lot of them feel really good until you get to Act 2, and then you're like, fuck, this character's weak. So I don't blame people for that, but keep trying. You'll find something you like. But did he take part telepathically in an insurrection? Ooh, maybe. I don't know. They've kept a lot of this under wraps. Just, vague things we hear. He said it was for that.
Now, what do you think the odds are that in like 10 years, they come to find out somebody writes a book on this? It's revealed that, in fact, the guy had been stalking this kid for a while and was like creepily obsessed with him, because I bet those odds are pretty fucking good.
We do know the last thing that he said to his mom is either he's chasing me or they are chasing me. It's hard to tell. And then the phone just kind of drops.
It's horrible.
He was on the phone with his mom when this asshole killed him. But don't worry, man. Out in Albuquerque, we're going to get rid of guns because drive-bys.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. What a world we live in, man. I don't even know what else to say about it.
Pretty fucked up, man.
It's just where we're at, I guess. I don't know if this whole Albuquerque thing is gonna. I saw a lot of people, once it gets to the courts, it's only a 30-day thing.
Yeah, it'll be done before it even touches a courtroom.
They might be able to get it into a district judge really quickly for an emergency stay on it. At which point, yeah, it pretty much just dies out and goes away. She gets her moment in the sun where she's like, ha ha, I did something about guns. And then she'll be able to blame the Republicans for stopping her. See, she was going to take care of gun issues, but damn it, she just couldn't because I know where this is going. We've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she tried. And that's all that matters here. That's the only point for those of you who are missing it. It's not even to actually stop you from carrying guns right now. It's so that she can say she tried.
I think this is the beginnings of the overuse of the public health emergency just like we're going to see with like the climate emergencies. They know it worked with the masks and the lockdowns. They're going to use this for everything. We talked about this a year and a half, 2 years ago, that they were going to pull shit like this.
Oh yeah,
where they're going to apply it to other things, and that's exactly what they're doing. She labeled this as a public health emergency so she could invoke special powers. Fucking disgusting.
Cryptic, thank you. I saw this New Mexico order coming. I paid attention to her during COVID lockdowns, and her policies were as bad as Gretchen, and she used executive orders to restrict people's liberties. Don't vote for menopausal women. Fair enough.
Don't vote for women.
Dark Resurrect, thank you so much, my friend. Wouldn't this technically qualify as terrorism, a politically motivated slaying? Now, that is an interesting point you bring up for why they would deny that what he said happened.
It's not terrorism because he's on the left, which makes him correct. So it can't possibly be terrorism because he's a good boy. He didn't do nothing wrong.
He chased down an 18-year-old boy, ran him over and killed him. He was in a car. The kid was walking. He's like, he said he was going to send people after me. The 18-year-old that you were stalking. You couldn't just drive the fuck off.
No, monkey, because the MAGAs are everywhere.
And they slapped him on the hand for it.
Yep. Give him a little hug.
He should at least get, what would typically be left on the child's life. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree.
Average age right now is what, 78? He should get at least 60 years. At least.
Yeah.
And the prosecutors cut a deal with this? Why? That's the best deal you could come up with was manslaughter?
Oh, they could probably have given him a more sweetheart deal, but they didn't want to look like they're playing favorites.
Oh, my favorite part, I read one article that said the coroner later decided or wrote that the death was accidental. That's not what that means in this case. The coroner didn't write, yeah, he accidentally swerved into the kid. What he meant was, this kid wasn't shot or hung. The damage was 100% caused by a guy purposefully driving a car into him. But the coroner said it was accidental. The coroner was ready to testify. He like, yeah, this motherfucker killed him on purpose. But I love that they threw that into the article like that somehow made it better. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? By the way, you're not going to find this in a whole lot of news. Jack, even looking up I forget the kid's name. It's Kaler. Fuck.
He's got a weird name. I can't pronounce it.
It's Cayler. I'm pretty sure that's Kaler, but I forgot his last name. Look it up. It is amazing the lack of attention that case received and is still receiving. I mean, this case, the sentence just came down yesterday.
Why would they want to cover it, monkey? It goes against the narrative.
Because a man murdered a kid for no fucking reason other than his crazy delusions.
Excuse me. He was a clump of cells, and it was a mega clump of cells. That's the sickest part of this, is they're going to find endless ways to justify this psychopath murdering this young man who happened to vote differently than him, allegedly, in the lunatic's mind.
Yeah.
But we glorify the mentally ill for some fucking reason now.
Oh, it's not for some fucking reason. It's because they're the ones most likely to spread the bullshit.
They're useful idiots.
They really are. I got into some arguments with people. I'm just kind of slight segue here. We're going to talk about video games.
No, what?
I was arguing with people yesterday about the game Starfield, which I've enjoyed what I've got to play of it, Jack. I haven't even been playing that much as I sit here doing nothing, staring. You know what I've done mostly? Mostly just clicking the ultimate collections of different pitch meetings. and staring blankly as I listen to him. It's amazing. That's how I spent my days.
To paraphrase a friend of mine, your life makes me sad.
I know, right? AP, how you doing, my friend? Says only mentally ill people are Dems. I don't want to say only, but a large portion. A large portion
seems to be connected. Hey, AP, did you see this video?
I haven't. Like I said, I've done very little online. I've gone on Twitter a couple of times just to try.
That New Mexico thing really got under my skin. I'm not shocked by it because I expect them to try and grab guns at this point, but the blatantness of the circumventing of the Constitution and the lack of attempting to hide it was so enraging to me. Like I was in a blind rage.
Watching pitch meeting compilations is tight. You know what I like most about pitch meeting, despite other than the
easy and barely an inconvenience.
Other than the catchphrases, he doesn't repeat his jokes.
No, he's pretty witty.
He is. He's a very funny Canadian, and I don't think we give enough credit to our funny Canadians. We've had a lot of them over the years.
Baba Doug McKenzie and who else?
John Candy, Rick Moranis. John Candy.
Yeah. All the SCTV people.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I'll give you SCTV.
There's lots of people who've come out of Canada who are actually funny. There's lots who aren't. But frankly, there's a lot who come out of LA who aren't. So, fuck.
No,
they just gave Nanette another show. What's that ugly bitch's name?
Nanette. Yeah. I don't know what her real name is.
I forget her real name.
Fatty Unfunny.
Yeah, that bitch. So, I mean, I can't really judge the Canadians too harshly.
Yeah. Oh, I can because it's fun.
But I was arguing with this guy about Starfield. And while I like the game, Jack, it's not groundbreaking. The writing is lazy as shit. And they don't even really give you a lot of those kind of games, Jack, when you're playing an RPG. It's clearly a story-driven narrative. They want you to get to X to Y to Z.
Uh-huh.
And you're pushed that way. But you get at least this hint that maybe you made a choice. Maybe you had a choice there.
No,
but that's almost completely gone. And this is a spoiler for anybody who hasn't played. It's not a big spoiler. You are forced to work for this military group to infiltrate these pirates, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to support the pirates.
What? Hold on, I'm shocked.
Well, I'm playing a space game where I can be a pirate. Of course I'm going to be a fucking pirate.
Just because you can be a space pirate doesn't mean you can recreate the movie Ice Pirates. Just
luckily, there's no space herpes there.
Well, I would hope not. That thing was horrifying.
But just to give you an idea, they go, okay, you got to go work for them, infiltrate them. Like, fine, fuck it. I'll go infiltrate them. So then you go infiltrate them and you do a couple of missions for the pirates. And then they're like, okay, here's your next mission from the pirates. I'm like, cool, ready to go on my next mission. And you bring up your mission thing to see where you need to go. And it tells you got to go report into the Navy guys. I'm like, what if I don't want to? And if you don't want to, you don't have to, Jack, but then you're done. There's nothing else you can do with the pirates. It's just you have to go back and talk to them just because they say you have to go back and talk to them. It's not like they gave it some at least bullshit reasoning like, hey, we put a bomb on your ship, and if you don't report in when we tell you to, then we're gonna blow you up. You know what I mean?
They couldn't even do the Snake Plissken thing where they're like, we put a bomb in your neck.
Yeah. They don't. Sorry if I just coughed in the mic. I did not mean to.
No,
they don't even give you that much. I'm like, dude, you can like the game, but he says it's got the best side quests of any RPG I've ever played.
So is this the only RPG he's ever played?
No, he lists off tons of stuff. He lists off the BG3. What are the two original Sin? The Divinity games. That's it. The two Divinity games. The Mass Effect games. Which again, the Mass Effect games. There's very little choice in those. That is a story-driven narrative with only the most hint of choice in that game, which I love Mass Effect. But if that is what you think an RPG is, then I understand why you think this game is like the tits. It's not a bad game, Jack. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it's just people are delusional because, and it goes back to this tribal thing right now. You know what's going on with this game? No. And this is true. It's not us PC players that are even really involved in this. This is a fight between PlayStation folks and Xbox folks.
Who cares?
They do very much. This is the old console
weird.
wars brought anew because Starfield is an exclusive to Xbox right now. And so, of course, it's got to suck if you're a PlayStation person. Or it's got to be the best thing ever if you're an Xbox person. And it's neither. It's an okay game. It's all right. It needs to be optimized for PC because it has some severe issues there, but it's true. That's where the fight comes from. It's Xbox versus PlayStation. Like, how dare you?
I cannot begin to express how fucking stupid that sounds to me. I'm not a video game person though, but I know that there is loyalty. What? Like I've had Xbox and PlayStations over the years, and a buddy of mine, he's real into video games, and he's got all the systems, and he has his preferences, and I just zone out when he starts chirping about it because I don't give a shit. And it's the same thing like DC people versus Marvel people. It's just a different form of some nerd obsession. And to outsiders, it sounds weird, and they just hear, you want to hear about my character? And nobody wants to hear about your character.
And I hear you, but when it comes to the fighting there, it's no different than any other tribalism.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And anytime that there's something like this exclusivity shit, it rears its ugly head, and it's kind of funny. Now, also on that game, and this will segue into something else. The article I mentioned at the top of the show, guys. We've talked briefly about the whole pronoun thing. So, as you're making a character in this game, the last thing you have to do is choose your pronouns. Oh, you can choose he, him, she, her, or they, them. And
I saw people whining that the game will still misgender you.
Well, see, here's the thing. I saw somebody, I think it was Hammer and Eve talking about this. And
Hammer and Eve sounds like a great douche name. It's like baking nice soda meets a clean feeling. You go horseback riding and scrub the floor.
Hammer and Eve, but I hear what you're saying there.
Let's say even Hammer. Them. I'm just saying it's great marketing.
But anyway, when I thought about it, I'm like, I haven't even noticed my pronoun. You know why, Jack?
Because you don't care about the dumb shit.
Because when you're interacting with people, they're talking to you, and they're not going to say you're fucking they them. They're going to go, you need to go do this.
That's even more insidious, monkey. They're not using they can't control the way you think when you're speaking. Oh, that's evil.
Alan, thank you so much for the donation. But yeah, it's not even an issue really even in the game. But Az had that freak out that everybody lost their shit about. And I mean, he was over the top in it and like, shit happens. But the truth of it is it's not really important to the game. No. And all the people are going, it's not important to the game. Some modders are like, all right, then we're going to take that out. And then suddenly, oh, how dare you even consider that?
You can't win with crazy people. It's just the way it is. Real quickly, though. Thank you, Cryptic. What do you call an Asian bodybuilder that barely does anything?
I don't know.
Asian bodybuilder that hardly does anything.
I don't know.
Hardly. Get it?
No. Hardly. I got it. Ha. So, wouldn't that just be an Asian bodybuilder?
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, there's this place where mods pop up. I forget, Nexus something. I never use it because I don't use mods. But they've already come out and said that if any mods are brought up for Starfield that take out the pronoun thing, they will not allow it on their site. They did the same thing with what I think Cyberpunk. Nexus mods, thank you. Where it's like, hey, pronouns, they don't. Hey, why are you guys making such a big deal about this? Oh, you want to take them out? No, fuck you. These are important. Are they or aren't they? Make up your mind. Because I'll have the argument either way. And here's my argument on that, Jack. I don't care about the pronouns. If it was just the pronouns, I wouldn't give a shit. You know why, Jack? Play a male character. I choose he, him. He, him. He, him. There you go. And if that was all it was, I would not care. But I have lost count of how many gay characters I've ran into in this universe. Now, that's important. And let me get this. Cryptic, thank you. My Asian friend and her black husband just had a baby. They named the baby. I can't read that.
That was so bad he had to go away from his microphone.
I had to get close to read it. I couldn't tell what it said. Remember, guys, if you send me donations, please do so in all caps because I'm having a hard time reading. But thank you so much, Cryptic. Damn it. Anyhow, what was I saying? So Jack, the notion of this game, right, is Earth is collapsing. The atmosphere is just leaking away. So everybody jumps on spaceships and goes to populate the rest of the solar systems. The rest of the galaxy. We're sending people out there. And somehow they managed to make thriving places everywhere with like half of the population being gay.
That's impressive. Well, they're pushing softies in. I guess I have to do this. Ugh.
There's gay people everywhere, man. Which, I mean, sure, I guess, but if we're being realistic about what's going on, there's this one. I don't want to talk about that mission. I'll tell you about it afterwards. There's one mission where it literally makes 0 sense.
Well, that seems to be a lot of games these days where they have to have their mandatory struggle session in there so that they don't get berated by the local constabulary of Antifa types that want to belittle everybody into submission. Real quick, though, thank you, Alan, who says, morning, guys. Morning, Alan.
Morning.
Thank you for the donut. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well.
The one heterosexual couple I could think of, interracial.
Well, yeah, that's a requirement, isn't it?
It's like watching television commercials. It's as though single colored sexes do not exist. There's no black families. There's no white families. There's no Asian. There's only mixed. That's all that exists. And I'm not against mixed race couples, Jack. I just think it's weird we keep having black babies with all these mixed couples.
I would like to have some beautiful Asian women allow me to
indeed. I have nothing against it, but there does come a point where you're like, okay, you're just pushing this shit on us.
Yeah, it's just pandering after a while.
Everything, the whole damn game. And that's my problem with the pronoun things, because it's never just the pronoun things. That is it seeping in.
That's the entry point. It's like where the infection begins. It's the start of the tumor.
And I have yet, not once, seen something where they pull this shit, where the writing is just like really great.
No,
it's so good.
These people are limited in what they can do because they have to abide by the certain confines. You can't have the bad guy be gay or trans or a person of color. It's got to be an evil white dude. So you're really restricted in the things you can do, and you can't work outside that box. So you either start out a hack writer or you become one because of all the limitations.
Thank you, Dr. Resurrect. To the Azrent, he wasn't just mad about pronouns, but rather the broader context. Forcing agendas into escapism The fact that the pronouns don't matter makes it even worse. Why include it? Why include it beyond internet good points? And again, that's why I don't hate his rant. His rant, Jack. I mean, he even puts in there, why are you pushing this modern day bullshit? Why are you pushing current year? Which is what it is. A couple of years ago, it was all feminism, feminism, feminism. Now it's all gay and trans. Because, and for the record, media's always been that way. Current trends are what goes into media. But this is just so blatant. And when you're taking such a minority of the population and pretending that they're literally everywhere, you're just forcing it. Let me get this real quick. Thank you. Thank you, Snubber. The pronouns are symptoms, not the cause. Yes, indeed. This is only a thing because non-binary, aka gender atheists, need reaffirmed. Sorry, I'm trying my best here. Taking the pronouns out would be a cacophony of it's literally killing us, putting Baldy's rant to shame. Oh, as is, that's Baldy. I got it. Yeah, well, again, look at just the notion of taking the pronouns out. Those pronouns don't matter. All right, we'll take them out. How dare you? How dare you?
You have committed a crime against the sacred transness.
The problem is not the pronouns. If it was just pronouns, cool. It's what they represent of the broader thing. And I've been saying this every time we've discussed this, is that it's the push to make all this normalized nonsense, because it seeps into my game. This game's writing sucks balls, and I can tell you why. Because the kind of people who wrote it give a fuck about pronouns. Snub, thank you. The pronoun thing being everywhere is deliberate. We were taught at uni, even cis have to show solidarity. Oh, yeah, you got to be a good ally.
Yeah, how dare you wrong think. Fast. Thank you, Evolved Potato. You know, I've started playing this amazing game. Great story, great RPG features, great everything, and not even that buggy. It's called Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Would recommend.
I loved Oblivion, man. That was great. If this is a role-playing game, why not just choose male or female? Razorfist did a rant about the as thing, and he points out what we've been pointing out since this whole trans thing blew up, that trans means transition. So if you're a boy who feels like a girl, then you shouldn't need they, them pronouns. What you should need is she pronouns. Make a girl character, plays a chick. There you go. You win. And you don't have to change anything about the human languages that we know already. We don't have to invent new shit for you. We don't have to tell the entire Spanish-speaking world that they're wrong for the way they gender things.
Yeah, obviously that's the Romans' fault with their circus. All the languages that are gendered are inherently evil, and we must colonize them and force them into adopting what we want. Wait. Makes no sense.
Our language isn't even that gendered, and they still are doing it.
Oh, yeah. English is very limited in the number of words that are actually gendered, some of which are not even recognized as gendered anymore because we don't use it that much. Like blonde, B-L-O-N-D is masculine. B-L-O-N-D-E is feminine. Most people don't even fucking know that. You know why? Because nobody pays attention in English class. It never was important before.
I didn't know that. I've always just spelled it without the E because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
You're actually, and people know what I mean.
See, you're blonde, but she's blonde.
She's blondie.
Yeah, she's blonde with an E.
She's blonde.
Blonde. Yeah, well, if you're lucky, she's blowing you.
All right. I told you guys that this was a segue. And I'm only bringing this article up, Jack, because I laughed so hard. I had trouble reading it, and not because I was trying to read it out loud or my eye or anything, but because of how it's written. Conservative activist Christopher Rufo named in complaint for misgendering school officials with ze/zer pronouns.
I saw this.
A Ron DeSantis-backed conservative activist was named in a civil rights complaint against a Florida college after he misgendered an educator who used ze/zer pronouns. The Biden administration's Department of Education opened an investigation into the new College of Florida after it received a complaint last month alleging that the school's board had created a hostile environment for transgender and disabled students and staff.
Yep.
This
is now a civil rights issue.
If you want to say using ze/zer pronouns means you're disabled, I'm on board. I really am.
Can we label them as that now? Like, here's your helmet, ze/zer.
Just gonna call you Tard. Is that all right?
We'll create a great acronym for Tard.
You should have a bib that says ze/zer, so we all know.
And it have Red Lobster on it. Thank you, Cryptic. When I was a kid, my English teacher looked my way and said, "Name 2 pronouns." I said, "Who? Me?"
Nice. Well played. Jeez. The complaint received by the DOE's Office for Civil Rights on August 24th names Board of Trustees member Christopher Rufo, who was appointed by the new to the new college board by DeSantis in January. It alleges that Rufo. Sorry, I scrolled down far enough to get to the picture of our Tard here. Oh man, you actually look like a potato. Is that my fault?
Well, that's how high he can count too. Thank you, Tyrai. Jack's on again. More things to listen to. Yeah. It's a full 4 hours of me today.
No, actually, that's a chick, dude.
That's a chick.
That's a chick.
I can't tell. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? It's just fat.
If you look close enough, you'll be able to see. You have the more rounded chin, or the more rounded jaw. You have very feminine features on this chick.
I've seen fat dudes like that too, though. I mean, this is a potato American. Can we just admit that? Yeah. Some people are just, as they get fatter, they get more androgynous.
It alleges that Rufo, who was also Manhattan Institute fellow, targeted specific students, parents, and staff with sexist and transphobic ridicule. So, in one incident, the right-wing activist allegedly mocked and misgendered the director of New College's Office of Outreach and Inclusive Excellence, the OOIE, Yolandi Rosario Hernandez after Z was summarily fired, according to a copy of the complaint shared by Rufio on his Substack. Z is a neopronoun, which is a form of personal pronoun preferred by some non-binary individuals who don't feel that conventional pronouns, including they, them, accurately represent their gender.
It's not special enough.
Now, here's the part where I just started laughing out loud. In a March post to X, formerly known as Twitter, Rufo shared that his colleague had a preferred pronoun before referring to her, and she in the next sentence. I read that for a minute going, what the? Did they miss a word here? And they didn't. This is the writer actually using the ze/zer pronoun in a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read it again. Nobody read the screen. Just close your eyes and listen. Rufo shared that his colleague had a preferred pronoun before referring to her, and she in the next sentence. Sounds like there was something fucked up there. Because what that should say is referred to a colleague, or said the colleague had preferred pronouns before referring to her as her and she in the next sentence. No, zer's not a word.
It's also tiresome.
That's a typo. That's a fucking typo. And this is the New York Post playing along with this shit.
Oh yeah, feed into the delusion. Why not? Just run with it.
You don't get your own pronouns, reject. You're not special.
Oh, you don't know me?
Look,
Moon Self is very upset.
Much like your parents, specifically your father, I don't care that much about you. If you want your own pronouns, by all means, move to dumb fuckatopia, make your own country with your own language. Stop trying to change English because you're too fucking retarded and you want to feel special. I'm no special, I'm special. No, you're not. I don't feel like a he, her. I don't care what you feel like. It's what you are, dumbass. Cryptic, thank you. If MJ was alive, his pronoun would be he. Nice. I can't do the Michael Jackson high-pitched he thing. I'm beyond puberty.
Ironically, that's also the Pillsbury Doughboys pronouns.
Good God, man. This shit is just leaking in everywhere. And this is the real issue with the Starfield thing, to bring it all whole circle.
Mm-hmm.
Being forced everywhere.
Yeah.
And when it comes to a game or a movie or any pop culture thing, what you're talking about is the kind of people who do this. It's almost like they really should have that bib, Jack, to let us all know, oh, the writing in this is going to suck because you can't write. Because if you could, you would know English better and not be doing this shit.
No, this is power and control. These fucking babies have nothing else to complain about. Their life is so soft and cushy that little things like this is all that matters to them. And they will die on this hill, quite literally, likely, when China invades us. But they are wounded. They have convinced themselves that they suffer trauma from misgendering and all this other bullshit. They are that weak. We are at like collapse of Rome levels of crybabyism.
Snubber, thank you. In the theme of stealing from black activists, X is the rebellion against binary akin to a slave name like Malcolm, except white women. I hadn't even thought about that. They stole X from Malcolm, man.
That's true. Well, he stole it from the professor, I think.
Hey, he's African American. He can do that.
Oh, ouch. I'm just a hitchhiker along for the ride.
I'm not wrong. He's African American. And unlike what I've been told are African Americans for the last 40 years, he actually is.
Not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
The other ones are Americans. They're just Americans. No, I'm African American. Which part of Africa, bitch? Where did you come from? Brooklyn. That's America, fucker.
The Kangs region.
Now, if you want to say you're African the way I say I'm Irish, sure, I don't care. But when it comes to what you actually are, you're just American. Stop it. No, let's separate each other further.
You really want to go out and live in a dirt hut and worry about Boko Haram and lions? I don't think so, dude.
Dude, there was a great article. I remember reading it when my neck got hurt the first time. I was in my doctor's office and he had a copy of was it Newsweek? Maybe it was Newsweek, back when Newsweek actually did decent writing. And it was an article by this guy, a black man, who went back to the motherland. He was excited for his trip, Jack.
Why? Has he never seen a documentary on Africa? No, what a fucking shithole.
All he'd ever seen was all the positive stuff. You know, there's dancing and ceremony, and he did not pay attention to any of the reality of Africa.
Like running water or indoor plumbing kind of thing?
Worse than that.
Ebola?
He gets over there and he's like, nobody should ever go to Africa. He goes, I'm not even left. This is a black man who said this. And he goes, not just was it, the lack of modern conveniences. He goes, there's just dead bodies floating down the river.
Yeah, that's normal. I mean, people just up and die because of starvation and lack of basic hygiene. people that are obviously illiterate that don't know how to do anything. No wells, Ebola, lions, tigers, and elephants. Oh my!
The glorification of these places. Look, Jack, I like my Irish roots. I think there's a lot of fun mythology that goes with the Irish roots and stuff. But there ain't no way you're taking me to that rain-filled potato-eating island.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks pretty fucking miserable.
It does.
Go somewhere fun.
Why do you think they're drunk all the time?
It's so they can. Sad.
It's so they can put up with living there.
You know what? See, I'm a big fan of gray skies, so I'm just
not.
fine.
I like the sun.
I understand that you're one of those daywalker types. So I get it, but yeah, I mean, and Ireland, Scotland, I'd be perfectly fine there.
Before any of my Irish audience gets upset, go suck a turnip. You know what it's like.
They will hit you with their shillelaghs, good sir.
At least it's still a first world country. That's true, Seal. I mean, at least there is that about it. I just have no
indoor plumbing.
I have no desire to go anywhere where it's just fucking. I'd go to Seattle. It's closer. I go where it rains all the time. Violence, dirt.
I've been to third world countries. Not cool, man. Not cool.
You mean a potato? All that area over there, they like their parsnips and their potatoes and their little root vegetables. Nom, 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 nom. And look, I love a potato. I won't insult a potato.
Yeah, but the potato's not even Irish. It's South American.
Yeah, it was just taken up there to feed those hungry bastards.
Yeah, because they were like, turnips blow. Yeah. What's this thing?
How about something with taste? Let's deep fry it and call it freedom fries.
Right?
No, Americans, man, we have this really bad idea of like the rest of the world is so great. And it's often fed to us by people who go to resort towns. Like, I went to Ireland. No, you didn't. You went to Dublin.
Oh, yeah. It was like when Conan O'Brien went down to, what was it, Mexico, to the resort. He's like, everything's fine.
Yeah. Go to the back country and then tell me how nice it is. You go live in squalor like that. I mean, at least here in the United States, Jack, for all of his faults, Carlos Mencia, that horrible joke thief, he tells this one joke about how he went to France, right? And he goes to this restaurant and he orders a soda and they bring it to him without ice because in Europe, a lot of places don't actually give you ice in your drink. They don't. It's an American thing. We have ice in all of our fucking drinks. And so he asked for ice and the guy brings him 2 ice cubes. And he's like, could I have more? And the guy kind of gave him attitude like, you Americans. And he goes, no, it's not that I'm being a dick here. It's just like in the worst, crappiest restaurant in America, you can get all the fucking ice you want.
Yeah, usually you have to ask them not to put ice in it, yes. Or at least not as much.
I order most of my drinks without ice because it comes cold enough for me.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to ask for as many refills because my glass isn't filled with fucking ice. Mighty Balzac, thank you. She said, kiss me where it's wet and smelly. So I took her to Glasgow. There you go. That's wonderful.
I would have gone with London because it smells like pee.
Oh, there's that too.
But yeah, fair enough. Glasgow. You getting her heroin? Thank you, Evolved Potato. Just so people know, there's a disturbingly common belief in Africa that AIDS can be cured by sleeping with a virgin. That's true.
Yeah.
Read next part before reading out loud. Yeah. It's I can't read that because you know why, but you're not wrong. Yeah. So it usually involves men doing really bad things to kids.
Yeah. Isn't America Honduran? Mencia. Oh, sorry. I thought Mencia was not Honduran. Is he Honduran? I thought he was Iranian.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck he is. But yeah, he could
steal jokes.
he can tell a really good story. He can take somebody else's joke and perform it very well. He should have got into comedic acting instead of trying to be a stand-up.
Yeah. I like what Undead Ramen said, by the way. Damn it, Americans hogging all the rare ice cubes.
I know, right? But there's things that Americans take for granted that if you actually go and do all this shit that you see your favorite vloggers doing or what, you're going to go over there and you're going to be fucking miserable because they only show you the nice parts because that's what sells.
Yeah.
That's how they get you to watch their lifestyle vlogs. Look at how great everything is. You never see them, with the diarrhea. You never have the wife standing outside of the hotel bathroom where there is no door and it's just squirts over and over for an hour because the guy drank the fucking local water. Welcome to Mexico.
You're in a third world country when the bathroom is just a hole in the ground filled with bugs, and you're better off just taking your pants off and taking a shit that way.
Carlos Mencia is an old Iranian name. Well, not the Carlos part, but he changed his name. I forget his real name. I've heard it before. Mencia is Honduran and German heritage. All right. It's been a long time since I paid attention to that controversy. I just know that Joe Rogan gave him a lot of shit for pretending to be Mexican because he's not, and that he's a joke thief. But if you're being fair, the guy can tell a joke.
Yeah, it's not like really good at telling Cosby's jokes.
It's not right. It's not like where he takes, or like where Amy Schumer takes a joke and she kind of tells the joke. Carlos sells a joke. He's really good at it. It's too damn bad. He was a joke thief. Yeah. And the worst part of that? You can buy jokes. Lots of comedians do it. Who is it? Robin Williams used to tell other people's jokes. You know what Robin would do? He'd send him a check. If they reached out to him, hey, you told one of my jokes, he just cut him a check. Send him several $1,000s. Be like, oh, all right. Well, there you go. Dane Cook did it. Lots of comedians steal jokes. And in fairness, man, I've seen comedians tell jokes that are fucking jokes from the old jokes books we used to get, Jack, as kids. Yeah. Those dirty joke books. And they'll take them and just kind of tell the joke and add to it a little bit. I'm like, I know that joke.
Yeah, I will quibble with this a little bit because Dane Cook is not funny, so he's not a comedian.
He's not funny at all.
He might be telling a joke, but it doesn't come out that way. It just comes out as some sort of spastic sound effect.
The rise of Dane Cook as a comedian is really weird.
Yeah, I think it meshed up with like a rise in mental retardation and traumatic brain injuries in children.
Well, it comes through the college crowd. He would go to college crowds, get them really drunk, and then tell his bad humor.
Yeah, and he just flails around a little bit, so people are like, oh, it's kind of funny because he's spazzing out.
He would take the barest minimal jokes to put on his YouTube and stuff, where he'd actually get a laugh, and then the rest of it is him screaming and doing nonsensical shit. And he's a very big beneficiary of the Tom Green jackass crowd. Ugh. He really is.
Lowest common denominator.
Yeah, we're just being a retard gets you laughed at. And then people started actually paying attention to his jokes. It's not like Andrew Dice Clay, who has this huge rise, and he actually gets beaten down by people who, he's just sexist, and that's what kind of knocks him off of his peg. Dice was funny. He if you take all of the nursery rhymes out, which, let's be honest, that is what made him blow up the way he did. He was still funny. He told good jokes, but he gets destroyed not because people realized he wasn't funny, but because it just became taboo to talk about the guy because, oh my God.
Yeah, it was too anti-PC.
Yeah, this comes at a time where everybody's like, oh my God, that sounded vaguely racist. Shut up. No, it didn't.
Yeah, he was one of the early victims of cancel culture.
He really was, yeah. Meanwhile, somebody like Dane Cook, it's just because people went, wait a minute, what was funny about that?
Yeah.
Nothing is funny. He just screams.
I hate that man. He's not funny at all.
No, I do not like him at all, and never have. And the first time somebody told, hey, go watch it, he's funny. I'm like, oh, cool. I like funny, Jack. So I went and watched. I'm like, this is not funny. I'm waiting for the punchline. Dane Cook, didn't his brother nearly ruin him financially? I have no idea about that. I would say Dane Cook ruined himself financially by being a fucking hack.
Yeah. Same with Tom Green. Not funny. Just weird and annoying.
Yeah. There's one from Canada that I don't forgive them for. Sorry, all the John Candies in the world can't make up for that shit.
Yeah. That's probably revenge for us taking Shatner.
I suppose so. They're very petty people up there.
Yeah, like Shatner stealing Mexico touchers.
He did stole almost all of his money. Really? I didn't know about that. That sucks. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, he stole people's money by saying he was going to tell them jokes and then didn't. Dane Cook's brother ripped him off for millions. I'm gonna have to look into that. How do you rip him off?
Probably sold him unfunny jokes. Went to prison for it. Yeah, well,
Damn.
I don't care about Dane Cook at all, so this in no way impacts me emotionally. It's hard to feel sorry for him. Not like that kid that got run over by the bicyclist.
Dangerous says Dane Cook is to comedy what Special Olympics is to sport. That's not true because Special Olympics are funny.
Yeah. Plus, some of those kids try.
Yeah. God damn, we're going to hell.
This is sweet shit. Hey, I'm on the express line.
Yeah. You said yeah. Don't let family handle your business. You shouldn't let anybody handle your business.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have like an accountant and a manager and shit when you're that big, but you want to make sure you want to check up on where everything is. Don't just be like, he's got it handled. No, just assume they're stealing from you.
Nobody gets power of control over or power of attorney over anything.
Oh, well, no, you don't give them power of attorney, but there are going to be people that, like, you have a business account that they're going to handle. That's how a lot of celebrities do it. Of course, they also get ripped off a lot. So, yeah. I mean,
because what you should be doing is like, okay, how much do I owe? I'll write a check for that. Instead of, oh, here's the account. Take care of it. And that's where they end up with problems because they're too goddamn dumb to spend a day a month, Jack, filling out checks for the shit that they're doing.
Yeah. And always get references on anybody you work with and check into them. Like, you're rich, have a background check run on your accountant. They'll understand.
Well, like, if you look at sports, right? One of the biggest problems they have is agents who just steal. Now, they provide a service. I mean, okay, let's say your agent gets you $100 million deal and he takes 20% of that. $20 million. You could have made your own deal for $85 million and just paid an accountant and a lawyer, and you'd have saved $15 million. You don't need an agent. What you need is a lawyer and an accountant. That's it. No, I need that agent. He's going to get me a shoe deal. Only if you're really good, and at that point, you don't really need your agent for that.
Yeah, you just have your lawyer look at the paperwork and be like, yeah, it's a good deal. Okay.
If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I don't have an agent. I have a lawyer and an accountant. Oh, God, speaking of which, I know you didn't watch it. That fucking game.
What, the Lions kicking everyone's ass?
They did not kick ass. The Lions didn't win that game. The Chiefs lost it.
They went out there, were like, meow, and they won. That's how kitty cats win, I think. I don't know anything about football.
I watched the highlights from the game, Jack, because that's how I watch football now. I just watch the 15-minute video on YouTube, cuts out most of the crap, and you see most of the game. And well, there was one part out loud I yelled again because this same motherfucker missed a catch that he should have made. The ball is in his fucking hands and he doesn't close them around the fucking ball. It was like the third time I'd seen him do it.
No, weren't they like short of one of their key people or something?
Travis Kelce, their amazing wide receiver, not wide receiver, sorry, tight end. He was out. However, okay, so he's missing one of his key receivers, right? He still completed passes to 11 different people in that game.
We're still talking about football, not Andrew Tate's sex whores, right? Missing one of his tight ends.
He was missing one of his tight ends. But Kelce being gone would not have been an issue if the other fucking people paid to catch the ball would have caught it when it hit him in the fucking hands. Okay, they lose the game 21-20, right? 7 of those points came because number 19, I forget his first name, but Tony, the ball hits him in the hands. Hits him. He's got both hands. Boom. And he doesn't close his hands. So the ball pops up and the defender catches it and runs it into the end zone. That's not the Lions playing that well. That's the Chiefs playing very badly. So I saw tons of people. The Lions are real this year. Lion fans, calm down. Like the Jets, like the Chargers, you're going to have a bad year. It doesn't matter how good your team is. You guys had Barry Sanders out there. You guys had, what's that receiver's name? Shit, it escapes me. You guys had an excellent year, and then you go to the playoffs, and you got absolutely embarrassed with a really, really good team. You're the Lions. You're the Lions. I saw people, they're going to win their division. Even if they do, that'll be it. That'll be it. They suck. They suck. They always will. Just accept it. Buy your merch, cheer for your team, and shut the fuck up. It's sad to watch you guys actually believe this. I'm a Charger fan, Jack. I want to believe my Chargers are going to the Super Bowl and winning it. But I know better. I will cheer for them every week. Go for it. Go for it. Yay, we won. And then next week I'll be like, we're going to fucking lose. Because I'm a Charger fan and I understand how this works. There's just a curse on some. Marvin Harris. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Megatron. No, Megatron. See, that's the power of an agent right there. A player who people know despite not really having much of a reason to. In the grand scheme of football, he wasn't that impressive. W's a W, monkey. Look, it's a win in the win column. But in January, when the Chiefs are still playing and the Lions aren't, tell me about how that W's a W. Shouldn't you be nicer to the Lion fans? No. They need a dose of reality. Your team sucks. It comes from the ownership, the same problem the Chargers have. It really is. You have the Chargers. Bobby Ross takes him to the Super Bowl. It's like 2 years later they fire the guy. Why would you fire the coach who's the first one to ever take your franchise to the Super Bowl?
Because they're using the franchise as a loss leader, so they can write it off on their taxes.
The Chargers have
this plot of Major League.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They did move the team. This goes back to the late 70s, early 80s, when for some reason the Chargers decided we never need a good running back. Just throw the ball. That's all we ever have to worry about. And
yeah, isn't that kind of the look busy defense?
People like a good passing game. They always have, because it's exciting. It's exciting. And even with a great running back, you're probably not going to get 2 or 3 50-yard runs in a single game, but you could get that out of receivers. 2 or 3 50-yard gains.
You use a lot of words, and I don't know what they mean.
I'm just explaining it since you asked.
Nah, I didn't care enough. I just wanted to make a major league analogy because I saw that movie.
Chargers need a medical staff. The Chargers need to be sold to a different team. The Spanos family suck. They don't know what they're doing. That's what it comes down to.
Jesse Spano?
Spanos.
Oh.
Yeah. No, these are the morons who own the Chargers who do things like get rid of Drew Brees and then LaDainian Tomlinson. The fuck is wrong with you? Anyhow, moving along, Jack.
Oh, are we doing something interesting now?
One day the Lions will play the Bills in the Super Bowl. The heat death of the universe will shortly follow as the Hells will have frozen over but one day. And somehow they'll both lose.
The game will be tied, and right then the apocalypse.
Monkey, the top teams need those useless bottom feeders. The Chargers are kind of like, they don't do it as much now, but back in the 80s and at least the early 90s in wrestling, when you'd watch it on TV, I know in the WCW, the NWA, they had this tag team called the Thunderfoots. They were nobodies, and just these guys wearing these generic masks, and they were there so the big acts like the Rock and Roll Express and the Road Warriors could beat up on them week after week. It's the only reason they existed.
Oh, they're like the guys that play the Globetrotters.
Yes. What, the Generals? Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Yeah, they own, and that's what the Chargers are. The Chargers are a farm team for the rest of the NFL. NWO, not NW. No. NWA. I'm right. Trust me on this. I'm old. They also had the AWA and oh God, what else do they have?
AMC. Oh wait.
Yeah, they're just tons of little, and they were all basically the same. Were they obnoxious British guys? No, they didn't let them talk, man. They didn't let them talk at all.
You're not getting paid to talk. They'd have to give you more money.
Atheist says in wrestling. Yes, the National Wrestling Association, I believe, is what the NWA stood for.
Yeah, wasn't the NWO like one of the like teams in WWE or something? I just passively absorbed some of that by idiots I used to work with, because I didn't watch wrestling. Comic books for literates.
NWO is after my time of watching it. It's what Hulk Hogan eventually goes into, and they called themselves the New World Order. It was big in both wrestling things, actually, as I think they start out in the WWE and then moved over to the NWA or whatever the fuck that became. Yeah. Anyhow, just some weird talking tonight.
Apparently.
Hey, look, man, I'm not on my game. I'm not even pretending to be, so I'm just chatting.
I do want you to watch that video before we wrap up, though.
What, the chick talking?
Yeah.
On here?
I don't care if we watch it on here, but you have to watch it. It's pretty fucked up.
How long is it?
No, it's like 2 minutes. I hate that woman so much.
All right. Make sure my volume is up as high as it'll go.
What?
I'm ignoring that. Da-da.
The Globetrotters were cheating left and right. They were doing all kinds of illegal stuff on the ball court field, whatever.
I watched WWF for years, never once saw Panda wrestling. That whole WWF lawsuit was so fucking retarded.
What got me is that the fucking wrestling company lost.
Didn't they settle?
No, I think they actually lost that one. I don't know. They might have, but they still lost the WWF.
Yeah, nobody.
The WWE.
Nobody was not giving to the World Wildlife Fund because they're like, oh, I want to support a panda bear. Shit, I accidentally bought WrestleMania tickets.
I don't know, man. I kind of wanted to watch exotic animals wrestle after that. So, yeah, like a panda versus like a hippo. I'd have paid good money for that.
I'll send you a video. When I was just sitting here 2 nights ago, a video popped up in my recommended animals fighting each other. And it was all kinds of them. There was a hippo. This gazelle is running from some lions or something, and it gets stuck on this little island out in a river. And these 2 giant crocodiles are coming for it, or alligators, whatever the fuck they are. I don't know. But they're coming right for it, and it sees them, so it starts taking off across the water. And this alligator starts chasing it. And out of nowhere, a fucking hippo pops up and grabs this alligator and just takes him out.
Would you say it was a hungry hippo?
Not anymore. And he's got some nice boots. Man, he just fucked that. All kinds of really cool ones. There's lions wrestling bears. Yeah, just I'll have to send it to you. It's funny as shit. Nature's brutal, man.
Yeah, it doesn't fuck around. Although I would be concerned if it misgendered you.
There's this mama chicken and her little chicks, and there's a horse standing there, and he just reaches down and eats one of the chicks.
What?
Yeah. Horse just nom 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 nom.
Wow.
He has himself a peep, man.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, he's a live action Peeps.
It was funny. I mean, it's horrible because, like, oh my god, it just ate a baby. Buddy, he ate a baby.
Wouldn't have pictured a horse doing that.
And the mama chicken starts freaking out, and the horse is like, what? He just keeps nomming.
Thanks for bringing your snacks by.
Okay, here we go with crazy bitch.
Got it. But we won't be able to arrest all of them. So imagine, just in a perfect world, if this was upheld, it gives all of these police officers the ability to focus on the real criminals.
As opposed to the fictional criminals she just created.
Yeah, the criminals you literally just created. But remember, this is a civil penalty.
For now. Unless you don't pay the fine, then it's criminal. Because you're going to jail.
Last follow-up.
Yeah. But your point is valid.
You took an oath to the Constitution. Isn't it unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carrying license?
With one exception, and that is if there's an emergency, and I've declared an emergency for.
Wasn't that convenient?
Yeah, I heard that. The exception is if there's an emergency. I don't remember that anywhere in the Bill of Rights or the Constitution that there's a if I'm scared clause.
I really do hope this gets to the courts. And unfortunately, I don't think it will, because I think, like I said, I think this is a publicity stunt. I think she knows it'll get shot down at the first chance, and then they'll just be like, all right, we tried. They won't let us do it now. Now we have to force it through. We gotta fix this shit for real. That's what this is. Yeah.
But the problem with that is that there could be some innocent people swept up in this.
Oh, sure.
And she doesn't give a shit. She doesn't care about law-abiding citizens that are going to get a criminal record because she's a fucking acting like an authoritarian acting.
Now, when it comes to emergencies and stuff, she's not wrong in that courts have upheld that certain liberties can be set aside during emergencies. But you seeing that an 11-year-old got shot by some fucking crazy assholes in a car is not the same as an emergency. You're literally declaring that the emergency is this so that you can pass this.
Yeah, the emergency is I don't like that. I want it taken away.
This is not the same as a health emergency, right? This is not the same as a hurricane swept through and, there's looting everywhere. And it's not the same, we declare martial law. That's sorry. But anyway, please let this go to court. Please let this make it to SCOTUS. I just don't think it will. Anyhow.
For a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There
Did you get that, Monkey? The 16th is going away.
Hang on. Let's.
If there's an emergency and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There are restrictions on free speech. There are restrictions on.
There's not. All of the things where they tell us that there's restrictions on free speech, there's not. You, for instance, saying, I'm going to kill you and getting arrested for making a threat is not your. They didn't do that for free speech. It was the threat that was the problem.
Yeah, it wasn't the fact that you said it. It's how you said it and what you meant by it.
Yeah, it's your intention of that. That's you stating that you're about to commit a violent act. That's the issue. If you would mind it, it would be the same thing.
My freedoms in this emergency, this 11-year-old and all these parents who have lost all these children, they deserve my attention.
How does this help them? That's what I want to know. How does this stop that? And she said a moment ago, Jack, this allows them to go after the real criminals. How, when you've just given them more work? Jack, how does increasing their workload allow them to concentrate on the real criminals?
Because the real criminals to her are the law-abiding gun owners.
You've just made this is New Mexico, so I'm imagining they have a pretty big gun ownership rate out there.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
How did you just make their job easier for them? You actually made it worse.
To have the debate about whether or not in an emergency we can create a safer environment.
She did not just say that out loud.
She did say that out loud.
Sweetheart, please go to court. Please. They now have you on record saying that you declared this emergency so we can have a debate.
Yep. And we can feel safer because the safest place on earth is a police state.
You just said in a public forum that your reason for this was for a debate.
It was a debate. Somebody's going to get shot over this. I guarantee it.
About their constitutional rights. I took an oath to uphold those too. And if we ignore this growing problem without being bold, I've said to every other New Mexican, your rights are subrogated to theirs. And they are not, in my view.
I'm sorry, what?
Mm-hmm.
Your rights are subjugated to theirs. No. Our rights meet each other. We have a bubble of our rights, Jack. And when you and I bump up against each other, neither of ours cancels each other out.
I don't think she understands how rights work.
No. Because in her idea, rights are do what she says.
Yeah.
She's just told us that. So we can have a debate.
I'm telling you, there's going to be like one of these like slightly off kilter First Amendment auditors or something that's out there walking around with a gun and it's going to get themselves shot because they're all walking around with a gun.
If I lived in Albuquerque and owned a gun, I would be walking around with it. I wouldn't even it wouldn't be loaded. It would just be on my hip, daring you to allow me to sue your ass. Daring you to.
Yeah, this affects 2 counties. So it's not just Albuquerque, it's the entire county Albuquerque's in and one of the other counties. I think they're both part of Albuquerque's a part of each of them.
Yeah.
But the 2 counties, that's very selective enforcement. I think she probably could have made a better argument if she did the whole state. but this kind of selective, you can't have rights here.
Well, for her argument, it makes more sense to do it localized like that because that's where the gun issue is, where the killing issue is. If she applied it to the whole state, she'd actually have less of a legal argument because she can't. I don't even know different towns out there, so I'm going to make one up. You live in bumfuck New Mexico, where there's not been a shooting in 80 years, right? And they did it there. She couldn't make a good argument that it had to be done there, so it has to be localized.
Well, she took a hard left at Albuquerque.
She really did. And I understand what you're saying, and that might make more sense that way, but legally it makes more sense that it has to be localized.
What are the odds that these shootings are related to the illegal alien problem?
Well, that's another good question, because when I started reading about these, my first thought was, how many of these shootings and stuff in Albuquerque, New Mexico have been from, legal citizens?
I would be willing to bet a very slim percentage of them. But we don't dare talk about that.
You're talking about crimes. There are already laws against crimes, so how are there rights?
I got it. But again, if I'm unsafe, who's standing up for that right?
But again, could you address his point? It's already illegal to shoot people. But if I'm unsafe, see, and I know this is going to get us in trouble. Women should not be in power like this. I'm sorry. Be as bitchy as you want. I don't care if it's a Republican, a Democrat, a Green, a Libertarian. I don't care. Women should not be in this position. They do not have the mental fortitude for it. Sorry, you don't. Because this right here, what about my feelings? What about them? What about them, lady? You're literally proposing making something illegal that wasn't to stop illegal activity that's already illegal.
But her feelings, her subjective feelings, Monkey.
This is why I don't own shoes. I know my place.
Right?
I don't trust women to be able to make logical decisions.
Dear, that's funny.
And I'm sorry. And look, I know that's sexist. Go fuck yourself. It's just true. And we saw it with Nikki Haley. I mean, they are really pushing Haley hard right now.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if you've been paying attention.
She's been on Fox News pretty much every day.
That fucking bitch. No, we need to just be like the Democrats. Go fuck yourself. Go be a Democrat, Nikki.
Yeah. She sure sounds like one. This constant like, oh, but as a woman, shut up.
Takes a woman to do. That's what Margaret Thatcher said. He. Shut up.
You're not Margaret Thatcher, though, lady.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've yet to see a woman who, when it comes time to make a hard decision like this, that the feelings don't override fact.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's going to be, what about the guys? Yeah, you know why the guys are doing that? Because they're following the lead of the women because they don't want to get in trouble. They're acting like, wait for it, women. But the women say the children. Shut up.
If this climate is so out of control, somebody should do something.
How many horrible things has that attitude led to? Oh, we got to do something. No, we don't. That's fucking dumb. How about you enforce the laws that are already on the books? Close the border for one.
Well, let's take a look at our national leader, Jack. Joseph Robert Biden.
Oh, you mean President Magoo?
His son right now is facing gun charges. It may go away just simply due to the statute of limitations. I don't know if you saw that article.
Oh, yeah. I told you they're going to drag this out till the statute's up, and they'll just be like, oh, he gets a walk.
He lied on his gun application. He was using drugs at the time and lied to get a gun. That is a 10-year sentence. 10 years. And you don't see Joseph R. Biden out there or this lady going, look at this case where this guy clearly breaks a gun law and gets away with it. Instead, they're like, look at this murder. Well, yeah, look at that murder, but you're talking about making another gun law that you're not actually going to enforce.
Well, it's selectively enforced, Sea Monkey, because look, Hunter Biden is being framed by mega ultra right wing death squads or something.
He's admitted to this. He was going to plead guilty to it.
No. See, that's a Republican talking point. Just because it's on video and recorded and written down and shit. No. Nope. That is a deception.
They never point to these cases where they let... how many times have I said this? We don't need new laws right now. Not in the major categories that we're talking about. It's like you brought up immigration. We need new immigration laws. No, we fucking don't. We need to enforce our immigration laws. We need new gun laws. No, we fucking don't. We need to enforce the ones that we have. Mandatory federal sentencing for gun crime. Mandatory. It's mandatory.
And I don't like that word.
They only use that. They only use that on somebody that they've already got on a much bigger crime. Fuck, in New York City, Alvin Bragg came out and said, even if you're caught committing a felony while having a gun on you, which, by the way, is all that you need for that federal statute, they're not going to charge you for the gun crime. They're not even going to hold you. That's just a slap on the hand.
Look, Alvin Bragg has a lot more on his hands to deal with, like important stuff like getting Trump.
I'm doing as much as I know to do.
Madam Governor, do you really think that criminals are going to hear this message and not carry a gun in Albuquerque on the streets for 30 days?
No.
All right, hang on. Okay. Ladies, those of you who got pissed off a minute ago, let me explain what we just heard. Somebody has to do something. I'm doing something. Do you think this is going to stop the criminal from doing? No. So you're doing something you don't even think is going to work.
No, she's doing something. She's punishing law-abiding citizens.
Do you think this is going to stop the criminals from carrying? No. But you're doing something. You know, a lot of times you'll hear people, something is better than nothing. No, not always. Sometimes nothing is far superior to something.
Yeah, because sometimes something is stupid.
Here, let me give you an example. If there's nothing wrong with you, it's way better than having something wrong with you.
Yeah, true.
But here's what I do think. It's a pretty resounding message.
Oh, that is a resounding message, sweetheart.
Yeah, the message is the Constitution means nothing to these people, and they will trample on your rights for their feelings.
Oh my God. That is among the dumbest things we've ever watched, Jack.
I know. I wanted you to watch it because you don't get quite the impact until you see how stupid this bitch really is. But this is the road to hell is paved with good intentions stuff. The people that think they have a moral obligation to help you are the most dangerous people on earth. Because I don't know how the quote goes, but it's something like even the most vile person will give you some respite. They will give you that opportunity to be left alone. They'll forget about you or whatever. But some moral busybody that thinks they're helping you will never stop.
Lisa says her body language says it all. Oh, yeah, it does. Watch out. She is defiant here. How dare you question me?
Yeah.
How dare you? I made this decision. Oh, God. Oh, she's a Democrat. That explains much. Again, you can't always put that on Democrats. She's a woman.
She's a woman Democrat. This is a lot right there.
I've seen Republicans do the same kind of shit. Jack, you know I like Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet from him yesterday. And he's like, we're going to dismantle the Department of Education, and we're going to use that money to give people school choice. I'm like, stop. Why aren't you just going to give that money back to the people?
Because they're addicted to spending.
Or pay down the debt. How about that? How about pay for some of the other shit you guys are already doing? Put that to something else so the debt's not going up as much. How about that? No. Like, we're going to stop spending on this. All of these fuckers. It doesn't matter. And Trump was no better. All of them act the same. It's we know what's best. We know what's best, and we're going to give it to you.
Yeah. Whether you
And unfortunately, it keeps going further and further left to where shit, man, Mao's going to seem very right soon.
He's going to be quaint at this point.
Mao's going to be seen as alt-right here next week or so. We're headed that way. When everything is headed that way. And yes, it all comes from feminine leadership. When did women get like this? They didn't always used to be like this, Jack.
No, they didn't. This is a recent development.
My mom was rough as shit, dude. My mom once looked at me during the middle of an asthma attack and basically said, suck it up, pussy. Seriously. She told me I needed to get used to it and I could not use my asthma as a crutch in life.
Well, I mean, it's a harsh one, but she's not wrong.
She's not wrong. And I did. And I don't. Every time I go to the doctor, you know, I get, oh, you have asthma. Yeah. Do you have an emergency inhaler? No. Why not? I haven't needed one in a long time. You should have one. But why? I mean, mine has never been so bad. I'm not like the ones that have severe asthma. I've had 3 times in my life when I'm first born, when I'm about 13, and then my early 20s. For just a couple of years each, where my asthma gets bad and I've had to have them. And otherwise, I don't pay attention to it. I could. There's times where I get short of breath when it, you know, it's clearly from that. I just sit down for a minute, catch my breath, and then go back about what I was doing. Because as mom said, suck it up, pussy. It would be different if I was one of those people who was severe. But I've seen so many people who are affected the same way I am or less, who use it as such a goddamn crutch so they don't have to do anything. Oh, I can't do that. I have asthma. Like, so do I, bitch. Get up.
Oh, that's my get out of work free card.
I couldn't do that. I'm crippled. Me too. Suck it up, pussy. That's my new one. Suck it up, pussy. We have so much of that. So much. Just pussies everywhere. Everybody wanted. She said it over and over. Safe. I need safety. Life ain't safe, bitch. It's literally the opposite.
Yeah.
You could choke to death on your own spit. Did you know that? That's true. You can drown in your own spit, Jack.
Yeah, well, you know, something to do, I guess.
I wish I only had asthma. Emphysema's a bitch. Yeah, we lost my uncle to that. We were talking about that the other day because my uncle, when he was in the hospital, they would take him outside and let him have smoke breaks with his oxygen tank.
Wow.
Yeah. And he used to carry a little oxygen tank before he got, you know, confined to the hospital right before he died. He'd carry it with him and he'd smoke all the time. They're like, that was so dangerous. I mean, there is a danger there, but
I mean, statistically, you're probably okay.
I can't believe they let him smoke when he had emphysema. He was dying.
Yeah, why quit now? It's a little late. I think we've crossed the Rubicon on that one.
I'm still, man, I read this story one time. The oldest woman in the world one time. I don't know what she is now, but this was a chick. She was 102 and lived in France. And they asked her what she did differently because she'd lived so long. She goes, not much. She goes, but a few years ago, I became blind and I had to stop smoking because nobody would light my cigarettes for me anymore.
Dicks.
I'm like, She's 102 and nobody could be bothered to light her cigarette because, oh, it's going to kill you. She's 102. Literally the oldest woman on the planet that we knew of, because who knows, maybe there's somebody in, I don't know, Nigeria who was older, but fucking dicks wouldn't light her cigarettes because they're bad for you. Life isn't safe. And you know what's even less safe than that, Jack, is freedom.
So true.
Whether it's your feelings or actual physical danger, freedom is scary. And not safe at all. Freedom's not safe. It's just better. And until people get that through their fucking heads, we're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
This was a thing that happened after the second Gulf invasion when we actually take out Saddam. There were a ton of people like, Saddam kept everybody safe. There was less crime when he was there. That's true. It's absolutely true. But you wouldn't like the way he did it. There's a lot less crime in North Korea, Jack, than there is in Detroit.
Oh, yeah. They murder people.
They live under an iron fist. They're not allowed to do things that might be unsafe. Stop them for their own good. Yes. We need to stop letting people make bad decisions. And does that mean that bad decision could actually affect you? Yeah, sorry. But hey.
Oh, but life is scary that way. And we just don't have people that can handle that.
I got told again the other day, Jack, the secondhand smoke is worse for you. This goes all the way back to Reagan's Surgeon General. What was that asshole's name? Coop. Everett Koop. That piece of shit. Because he came out and said, yes, secondhand smoke. People who are exposed to secondhand smoke, it's just the worst ever. But let me get this straight. So me smoking this right here, which I directly take into my lungs and then exhale. And then I'm breathing the same secondhand smoke as everyone else. They're worse off than I am? Well, they should probably start smoking. They'd be better off, right? Isn't that what they're telling me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No smoking is the best, but if there's going to be smoke, you might as well be smoking because it's better for you than not smoking in a smoking environment. That's retarded. But it sold it, Jack, because people are so goddamn scared. That's what actually changes the whole smoking narrative. Is Everett Koop when he comes out and tells us secondhand smoke is worse than smoking. I'm making him sound way more masculine than he was.
Yeah.
And that changed the whole thing. Why? Because people got scared. Oh my God. If I go into that bar where I'm going to drink so much that I don't even know where I am, I might get some secondhand smoke. Doesn't matter that I'll get butt raped. That's nothing. I can't have that smoke near me.
Right.
Fuck off. Secondhand smoke just stinks, smells really bad. I don't know, man. I like a bar that smells like smoke. I don't like one that smells all like a fucking hospital. Why would you want to drink there, man?
Ambiance? I don't know.
That's like saying Iran is so progressive about giving trans people surgeries. Yeah. We're headed that way, man, because we have so many people so worried about their own damn safety. I got news for you, and I'm not telling you this to scare you. You're gonna die. And if you sit around worried about how you're gonna die, you're not gonna live. That's the point of telling you that you're gonna die. It's not to scare you. It's to get you to fucking accept it. One day it's gonna happen. And a lot of you are religious, so you think you're going on to bigger and better things anyway. Stop fucking worrying about it. Go out there and enjoy yourself. Stop taking away other people's freedoms because it might hurt my feelings. Fuck you and your feelings. The one thing that's not going to kill you is hurt feelings. Unless you're like really pussified. And we're getting there soon, Jack.
I just wait for the invasion and Portland surrenders immediately.
Yeah. Stop worrying about how it's going to happen. Just go have fun. That doesn't mean do stupid shit. Don't jump off the top of a building with no parachute. Just, hey, monkey said it's going to happen. No. you take precautions. You don't do stupid shit, but you also don't get to take away other people's freedoms because, oh my God, one day a bad thing might happen. That's just not what you do. I mean, it's what we do. It's not what we should do.
Yeah.
So we really got to stop letting women make these decisions for us.
Good Lord.
Modern women, man. Go back to old school women. Bring them back. I'll take them.
Well, they didn't put up with any sass.
Suck it up, pussy. Mom, whip your ass for being lazy and stupid. Ah, them were the days. Monkey knows my childhood. Probably lived it, my friend. Yeah,
I found the quote I was thinking of, by the way.
Go ahead.
C.S. Lewis. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive.
Yes, yes.
There's more to that quote, but you get the idea.
Yep. And that's how they sell it to you. It's for your own good.
Yeah.
This is for you. Is it? How about you let me make that decision? See, you're not smart enough to make decisions. Do you have your own lab? You don't have your own lab, do you? So, yeah, you can't make decisions for yourself. COVID 2.0 is on its way, because the election's coming. And the one I love is people calling it the election infection.
Yeah.
Because that's fucking genius and true. Get scared, guys. There's a new variant.
It's time to be afraid again, you guys. This was super duper dangerous.
It's almost like it has a season like the flu does. Almost.
Yeah, but see, we've got climate change season, and then we've got electrical grid shutdown season, and then we've got the coof season.
Saw the head of one of the teachers' unions the other day say that we really need to get new ventilation in schools for the safety. One part of the Recovery Act, or one of those acts, gave a shit ton of money to schools, billions and billions of dollars, Jack, to upgrade their ventilation systems. But we need billions more, because we always need billions more.
Oh, of course.
But two, can anybody point me to a school that caused a major outbreak?
Nope. Because kids weren't really getting sick from this unless they already had an issue.
Yep. And despite what they've tried to convince you, there haven't been significant cases of people without symptoms, asymptomatic transmission. They keep saying it can happen. And it all started with that one, I think it was North Korea. I can't remember. It's some fucking second world country where they're like, this one family, this one chick, she went to all of them. She had no symptoms and they all got sick. Like, really? You guys were testing her temperature the whole time? Because remember, a lot of people got sick with this, Jack, without really having a lot of major symptoms. A lot of people had a minor cold.
Your hate facts.
Yeah. A lot of people tested positive for it, never had any symptoms at all.
Out of control, man. You're
I know.
out of control.
But there's no major study that has shown asymptomatic transmission. It's very much like the washing your hands thing, which we lost people. Wash your hands. There was no evidence of it being transmitted by one person touching this and then another person touching that. They had people literally scrubbing fruit with Clorox wipes.
Yeah.
And we got to watch that. Somebody might have breathed close to it. No, it was airborne. People would breathe it. Other people would breathe in close proximity. That's how it was spread. And you're telling me that the Cuomo house had better ventilation than a giant school. Schools are not small, Jack.
What? Really? Aren't they like one room?
No. Not since like the 1800s, man.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. When they upgrade that shit?
When my father was a child.
Oh, the long ago.
Yeah, gotcha. My father's the last person I know who honestly went to a one-room schoolhouse.
Huh.
Yeah. And by the time he was in high school, they had a giant high school.
They had a shed out back so they could have 2 rooms.
Yes.
Slow kids go in the shed.
That people so scared of everything, man. So scared. And that's how they get you, man. Just scaring the shit out of you. There's a reason they do it, because they know it works.
Yeah. And they know most people aren't going to look too closely at it.
Well, we hear a lot, Jack, when it comes to wars about propaganda between the two sides, like Russian propaganda and Ukrainian propaganda. You rarely hear about the most insidious, and that's your own government using propaganda against you.
What?
Your government gaslights you all the time.
First of all, there's no Ukrainian propaganda. That's just called the facts.
Yeah. The Ukrainian propaganda is facts. The Russian propaganda is propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing. We gotta get the ventilation in schools. Schools are ventilated. I mean, unless look, maybe there's some that need their ventilation systems cleaned. And the real story there is, though, they already got the money. Why are you asking for more?
It's never enough. That's why.
What'd you do with the last stuff?
They gave it to Ukraine.
Hawk, very possibly. We have hawks and owls and all kinds of other. We have woodpeckers and blue jay. Man, there's this one blue jay family that's been living around here. They are gorgeous, Jack. And my kitty cat really wants to eat them. Phoebe has a new trick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we used to let her out on the porch, and she'd go out there and she'd stay on this one little area of the porch, and she'd just kind of hide there from the world. And if she heard a big sound, she'd run back to the door. Well, now she goes out, she immediately runs under the van. And she does it because she knows I can't reach her little ass under there. She figured this out when the girls were here. She runs under the van because she got scared. Oh. And I went over to the van and I called her, and she was so scared under there, Jack. She actually came right to me and let me pick her right up. And she was like, "Dad, please take me inside."
No, she was more like, "They'll take the big one first. He's delicious compared to me. I'm snack sized."
But since then, every time she goes out, she immediately runs under the van. Like, you little, I will spray the hose under there. I swear to God, I will. She stays under for a minute or two and then comes out to eat grass. And that's when I snatch her up.
Her weakness, delicious grass.
Oh, she loves grass. The
Usually
problem
makes
is
cats vomit, doesn't it?
It depends on how much they eat. She likes to chew little pieces, and she doesn't eat a whole lot of it. But the other day she got out there and we needed to mow. And that night I go out into the living room and there's a piece of grass in cat vomit. It's about 6 inches long. Like, God damn, cat. Blue jays are assholes. Yeah, but they're pretty. And here in Michigan, blue jays and cardinals are something you see, especially up here in northern Michigan. You see them a lot. I really haven't seen cardinals in a while.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them. Birds are all assholes.
True.
They will poop on you from above. They will shit all over everything. They'll tear stuff up so they can make their little nest. And they'll be loud and annoying when you're trying to sleep.
Yeah, the ecosystem around here changes quite a bit. We used to get lots of frogs and hadn't seen them in a couple of years. And there was a frog out there earlier this week, which is going to make the owl happy.
Yeah.
But the problem with frogs is they bring snakes, and then the snakes eat all the frogs and go away. And then they, it's cylindrical. The circle of life, Simba. I want a league of my own birds of dank. You want high birds? I don't like birds. I like watching them. I like the hawk that flies around him. He is fucking huge. If people who haven't seen him before, if they're standing outside, the way most people notice him at first is his shadow. He'll fly over the driveway, and this fucking shadow, it looks like there's a small plane up there. I can't even guess his wingspan and everything, Jack, but he's fucking huge. It's why I keep such a close eye on Phoebe when we go outside.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Because he could snatch her up in a heartbeat. So yeah, she does not get far from humans when she's outside. We once found a turtle in our driveway. To this day, we have no idea where it came from. Turtles walk quite far, actually. We've had one here before, and there's no standing water around here, Jack. The closest standing water to where I live is 1.5 miles away. And this turtle, I mean, he was not very big. Little painter turtle, however you say that. Maybe 4 or 5 inches. He's just a tiny guy. I like turtles are cool. We had a turtle for a while. His name was Blue, named after Blue's Clues. And you could actually hand feed him. He was so cool. You had to be careful though, because if you had it too small of a piece of food, he'd accidentally grab your finger.
Yeah.
And wouldn't let go. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about turtles now, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Wait, was there one more thing I wanted to discuss? Oh, yeah. Speaking of women, saw this story right before we went to launch. Jack said, "How women can tell a man's penis size without ever seeing him naked," by Jenna. I don't know, Jana. Jenna Hawking. I'm like, all right, I'll bite. Let's go see. And real quick, let me give this first. Professor Cass, thank you. I'm late and started from the beginning. The governor knows she can do this because court cases do challenge, would take months to get to court. It could get to court faster than that on an emergency, because you can ask for an emergency stay from a judge. And yeah, we could see it before that. And that's really where I think it's headed.
Probably.
All right, so I click on this article. How women know how big your penis is before they've ever seen you naked, Jack.
Oh, no.
Because women tell each other.
Oh, that's it?
That's a whole article. Because we talk to each other. Yeah. And if you guys didn't know that, you haven't paid attention to this channel. We've told you that many times.
Yeah.
Guys get accused of the locker room talk. The people who really do it are women. They get nasty about it.
A bunch of gossips.
And yes, your wife or girlfriend's friends know the size of your penis. I promise you that. Now, hashtag not all, but for the most part, yeah, they talk about that shit. Why? I don't know. Jack, I've never been with somebody and afterwards had a friend go, "How deep was her pussy?"
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened to me either. I don't know.
The closest you might get is she was tight or she was a little loose, and that's it. It's not like, dude, it was like 4 feet deep, 8 feet wide. No, women, they give they give descriptions, y'all.
Yeah, the most I've ever heard is like an egregious thing, like, man, she's really loose.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, I could barely fit in there. You know, it has to be something notable as opposed to like, it was an average vagina. The approximate depth was about 8 inches before it hit the cervix. No, we don't do that shit. That's weird.
I've never even heard guys, and I'm not saying it never happens, but it would be very rare, talk about like labia size. Guys just don't do that with each other.
No, again, it would have to be something freakish.
Now, the exception to that rule, if she breaks up with you and she was a cunt, then maybe you'll tell your friends about her fucked up vagina.
Yeah.
But not while she's your girlfriend, no. Guys, no. If your dick has a bend to it, your girlfriend or wife's friends know about it.
Yeah.
Just letting you know. If you go off to the right, they know it. That's why you need a pretty penis like mine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so cool. Thank you for all the birthday wishes to my wife. I will pass those on to her. And you guys, you're awesome. Thanks for coming back and supporting the channel the way you do. Jack, anything you want to show?
I will drop a link to the stream I did earlier where I solved the mystery of who took Ethan Ralph's purse. I did. I solved it. I'm pretty sure I did. Also, I covered a bunch of other dark, depressing stuff. So thank you all for the donations, though. That is really helpful. The tips keep us going. And we love you.
Lady Monkey is a saint for dealing with you for another year. No doubt. If she breaks up with you, you have full rights to tell the world about her bat wings. True story. And Undead Ramen says, yes, that laugh my ass off. Yes, they'll know. That's true. Women talk, guys. Women talk. So be nice to them. Be nice to them. Nah, fuck that. Just whip your dick out. They've seen it or they've heard about it. You might as well show it to them. Don't follow that advice. That's how you end up in real jail. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming and joining us. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Everyone have a wonderful day. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
I don't feel well enough to sing, but here I am doing it anyhow. Sometimes I say words and forget what'll rhyme with them. Like now.